Okay guys, when I first started this channel, one of the first reviews I did was the movie Miami Vice. And I got a lot of messages saying, hey, what about the TV show? What about the TV show? Guys, this episode's for you. Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Rewind, Relive, and Review. I'm Rick. This is the show where we talk about movies, music, and television. And today, I want to talk to you about Miami Vice, the TV show. This was an excellent show. This show changed a lot about what we see on TV today. Without any delay, let's get into it.
Now, Miami Vice is an American crime drama. It's a television series created by Anthony Yerkovich and produced by Michael Mann for NBC. This series starred Don Johnson as James Sonny Crockett and Phillip Michael Thomas as Ricardo Rico Tubbs. They're two Metro-Dade Police Department detectives working undercover in Miami. This is an action, crime drama, neo-noir, all-around hella fun cop TV show. The show also starred Sandra Santiago, Michael Talbot, John Deal, Olivia Brown, and Edward James Olmos. Miami Vice ran for 5 straight years from September 16th, 1984 through June 28th, 1989. And unlike standard police procedurals, this show drew heavily upon the 1980s new wave culture and is noted for contemporary pop and rock music. It was very different from the time it began, and that's what drew a lot of people to this show. For its time, it was very gritty, but also very fresh. Being a network TV show, it had a 1-hour time slot, so the average episodes were 46 to 49 minutes. In keeping with the show's title, most episodes focused on the combating of drug trafficking and prostitution. Most episodes ended in an intense gun battle, claiming lives of several criminals before they can be apprehended. And I really like that dark tone and the not so great, not so happy, or even the ambiguous endings. It sort of grounded this show and kept it real. The culture of the world at the time is what lended to the look and feel and sound of this TV show. With that new wave culture, that 80s style, it came through in the look of the sets, the outside, the inside, the costume design, and the soundtrack itself. It was said that the show was written for MTV audiences, which is more interested in images, emotions, and energy than plot, character, and words. And this is what made the series an instant hit. In most episodes, there are several sequences with little to no dialogue, but the music track is what pushes it forward. And everything comes across just as clear, if not better. When you look at the sites on Miami Vice, you see why they had a quote unquote no earth tones directive. They were influenced by an Art Deco revival style. You'd see lots of pastels and bright colors. Miami Vice was one of the first American TV shows to be broadcast in full stereo sound. It was mixed in stereo for its entire run. Each episode cost around $2 million to produce. Being shot on location, the show had a huge advantage on what it was trying to achieve with its look and culture. However, not every location and neighborhood had that look. Some street corners of South Beach were so run down that the production crew actually decided to repaint the exterior walls of some of the buildings before filming. The crew went to great lengths to find the correct settings and props. So Miami Vice itself helped stir the revitalization and culture in the Miami area. And this in turn boosted South Florida's popularity as far as tourists and celebrities. Interior scenes were initially supposed to be filmed at Universal Studios in Los Angeles, but to simplify cross-country logistics, the decision was made to use facilities in Greenwich Studios in North Miami instead, and only carry out post production in LA itself. Back in the 80s, if you were a famous music artist and you were in heavy rotation in MTV, chances are you had a song on Miami Vice as well. And there were literally dozens of popular artists included in the soundtrack of every episode, from the likes of U2, Peter Gabriel, ZZ Top, Duran Duran, INXS, The Police, Foreigner, El DeBarge. The list goes on and on. And several artists guest starred on episodes too, including Miles Davis, Phil Collins, Glenn Frey, Ted Nugent, and Frank Zappa, just to name a few. Now, like I mentioned about the music, uh, during this show's run, 3 official soundtrack albums with original music from episodes were released. Most shows can't boast 1 soundtrack, let alone 3. But okay, let's address the elephant in the room. Back to the clothing. This show had a huge impact on men's fashion, myself included. They popularized, if not single handedly invented, the t shirt under the Armani jacket style. There was also Detective Sonny Crockett's unshaven appearance, which made popular men going with that 3 to 5 day stubble look. And speaking of fashion, on an average episode, Crockett and Tubbs wore 5 to 8 different outfits. Lots of shades of pink, blue, green, peach, fuchsia, etc., etc. And these were big name designers. Victor Ricci, Gianni Versace, Hugo Boss. You could see where the production cost was going from the get-go on this show. During the 5-year run of this show, consumer demand for unstructured blazers, shiny fabric jackets, and lighter pastels had increased exponentially in stores. Macy's themselves had an entire Miami Vice section devoted to its young men's department. Ray-Bans were very popular. Crockett wore Ray-Ban Wayfarers in almost every episode. There were 2 cars in particular that were just as big a hits on this show as Don and Phillip. And that was the season 1 and 2 Ferrari Daytona and the season 3, 4, and 5 Ferrari Testarossa. What a lot of people don't know is it was not a real Ferrari Daytona. It was a Corvette chassis that had a kit body on it. The folks at Ferrari weren't too happy about that and initially made a deal with NBC, giving them an actual Ferrari, and that's where the Testarossa came in. However, one of the stipulations was Ferrari did not want to see the Daytona ever again. And the powers that be were more than happy to make sure that that didn't happen, because there was an episode where the Daytona Spider was literally blown up. And let's not forget Rico's car of choice. He drove a 1964 Cadillac Coupe de Ville convertible. I mean, it's Miami. You got to have a convertible, right? During its 5-year run, Miami Vice underwent several noticeable changes in its formula and content. Between seasons 1 and 2, however, these changes were mostly subtle and involved details such as the degree of perfection with which color shades of a scene, backdrops, props, or clothing were matched to each other. During that 3rd season, after the cancellation of Knight Rider, the show moved from traditional time slot of 10 on Friday nights, which now put it up against perennial top 10 show Dallas. This began the show's decline, and in March of 1987, TV Guide ran a cover story entitled Dallas Drubs the Cops, Why Miami Vice Seems to Be Slipping. Now, I don't mind Dallas, but I was one of those people that still tuned in from Miami Vice. I do hate it when the network thinks they know better and they move shows that are popular, thinking that they are going to stay the way they were. Also, during this time now, the general tone of season 3 episodes began to become more serious and less lighthearted than previous seasons. And there were a lot of episodes that were quote unquote grabbed from the headlines of various real life events and situations. By the time season 4 rolled around, most of the original writers had left the show, and stories and arcs included a courtship and marriage between Sonny and Caitlin Davies, who was played by Sheena Easton, and a plot in which Crockett developed amnesia. That was a damn good plot, too. If you haven't checked that out, check it out. He was a hitman when he had amnesia. So in May of 1989, NBC aired the 2-hour series finale of Miami Vice and thus ushered an end of an era. Whether you love this show or hate it, there will never be another show like Miami Vice. I defy anybody to show me a cop drama that meant more to TV than Miami Vice did during its run.
So there you have it. Miami Vice ran for 5 seasons. Each season was fantastic. Make sure that you dig that up somewhere, either on home media or streaming. Check it out. As always, stay positive, stay blessed. I got more good content coming in the future. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you again.